All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today we're going to talk about a shortcut in the real estate world, selling your house directly for cash. What does that actually mean, and what's the real trade-off? Let's dive in. If you've ever even thought about selling your house, you've probably also thought about, well, the stress, right? The uncertainty, the sheer amount of work. But what if there was a way to just bypass most of that? You know the drill with the traditional way of selling a home, right? You've got agents, constant showings, and just a lot of waiting around. But there's a streamlined alternative out there that's built for one thing: speed. So the whole promise of a direct cash buyer is super simple. They want to turn what can be a months-long nightmare into a quick, straightforward deal. It's all about getting rid of that friction, you know? And when they say fast, I mean, how fast are we really talking here? Well, often the whole goal is to get cash in your hands in 14 days, or even less. For anyone who just needs a quick, clean break, that speed is everything. Okay, so how on earth is that kind of speed even possible? Well, it all boils down to a really simple 4-step system. So here's how it works. First, it all starts with just a simple call about your property. If it sounds like a potential fit, they'll set up a super quick visit. And then, within a day or two, like 48 hours, you've got a written offer in your hands. And get this, there's no obligation to accept. If you do like the offer, a local title company just swoops in, handles the paperwork, and you can close sometimes in as little as a week. That's it. But it's not just about the speed. This whole approach is really designed to strip away the most stressful parts of a traditional sale. All the stuff that costs you time, money, and maybe a little bit of your sanity. And when you put them side by side, the contrast is pretty stark. On one hand, you've got the traditional route with agent fees, staging costs, repair bills, and just months of not knowing what's going to happen. And then you have the direct cash model. The goal there? 0 fees, no cleaning, and selling your house completely as is. And the whole thing could be done in just a couple of weeks. And as is means, well, it means exactly what it sounds like. You don't have to hire a cleaner, you don't have to patch those walls or fix that leaky faucet. The buyer literally takes on all of that work, but after the sale is already done and you've moved on. Okay, so this level of convenience, it naturally raises a big question, right? What's the business model here? How does this actually work? Because, let's be honest, when a process promises to be fast, easy, and fee-free, it's totally natural to be a little skeptical. You start wondering, okay, what's the catch? And the answer is really in the business model itself. See, these companies aren't real estate agents. They don't list your property and go find a buyer. No, they are the buyer. They buy the house directly from you. And by doing that, they just cut out the middleman entirely, which gets rid of all the time and costs that usually go with it. So then how do they make their money? It's pretty straightforward. They figure out what the house could sell for after they fix it up. Then, from that number, they subtract all the money they expect to spend on repairs, remodeling, and eventually selling it again. Whatever is left over, that's what becomes their offer to you. Their profit comes from the value they add after they buy it. All right, let's keep going and tackle some of the most common questions people have when they hear about this. So, a huge one for a lot of sellers is repairs. Like, my house needs work. Do I need to fix that leaky roof or that super outdated bathroom before I can even think about getting an offer? And the answer is a big, emphatic no. Absolutely not. The whole point is for you not to do the repairs. They've got their own crews ready to go. So that giant hole in the wall your dog made, that's their problem to worry about now, not yours. Okay, now for the most critical question of all. It's about the money, right? How is the actual offer amount for your home determined? It really comes down to market value and their costs. They're going to look at the location, of course, what similar homes in the area have sold for recently, and then they subtract all their expected costs, the repairs, any remodeling, and their own future selling fees. That's how they get to their final number. And finally, the fear that I think haunts every big transaction: hidden fees. Are you going to get to the closing table only to find a whole list of surprise charges you didn't know about? So what about those hidden fees? The answer is simple: 0. That's right, 0. Zilch. The offer they give you is the cash offer for your house, as is. There are no hidden fees, period. And that really brings us to the crucial trade-off here, doesn't it? What you're doing is you're trading potential top-dollar equity for 3 really valuable things: speed, certainty, and convenience.
A cash offer is all about a guaranteed, hassle-free closing, not necessarily squeezing every last penny out of the open market.
So this really leaves us with one final question. And honestly, the answer is different for everyone. Depending on your specific situation, maybe it's a new job, a tough inheritance, or you just want to move on with your life. What's the real value of speed and certainty to you? That's the calculation everyone has to make for themselves.